Want me to take the other half?
Yeah, you need to do that. All right, so just to graph this, what are we going to use? We use our calculator, right? So just for practice, go to your y equals, and then you got x cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 3. And graph it. Okay? So I can just, you can sketch that. All right? Now, when I have you do this on the quiz, I want to ask you to tell me the zeros and the y-intercepts and then min and maxes when we do it for the quiz, all right? So we'll do min and max on this one, but here to find the zeros, it looks like -1, +1, and a +3. Go to my table, check. Yeah, -1, and I'm looking for where zeros are in the y for my zeros. So -1 and +1 and +3. So, you can just label it. You don't have to write them all out. So -1, 1, and 3. I want to ask you for the y-intercept, okay? And that's going to be here. I'll do it a different color. And that might be a 3 also. Let me see. On my table, yeah, that's when x is 0. That's the y-intercept. So that would be 3. And then I'll also, when we have our quiz, again, ask you to find min and max. And that, the max looks like it might be at that 3. I think it's a little bit off. I think it's going to be a little more than 3. But we can use our calculator to find that as well. Okay, so this one, it says find max and min. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. So go back to my y equals. I got the x cubed. So I'm just going to move over. And that's a 15x squared. So 15x squared minus 2. And then delete the 3 there. And then graph that. Okay, so that's kind of bad. I got a max there, but I don't see my min. I don't see where it ends. So I'm going to have to do some, let me zoom out once and see what happens. That's a 3, right? See if we can see it any better. No, oh, there it goes. All right, let me try zoom fit, see if that helps to see the bottom at all. That's zoom 0. Zoom fit. Yeah, it doesn't help me much either. I'm probably going to go back to my zoom 6, the normal one. All right, so I can look at different views of it.
Did you put it in right? Because that's not what mine is done at all.
Is that right? Maybe I didn't.
Unless I put it in.
All right, x cubed minus 15x.
Oh yeah, it's not 15x squared.
Oh, I left it squared. You're right. Thanks. That's a little more like it, huh? Okay, so I can't see, if I pull this over, I can't really see where it's at. Okay, I just know that it's up here somewhere and down here somewhere, right? Okay, so I just want to go through this again with you to show you how to find it. I'll do max first, so I'm gonna go second, trace. That's our calculate menu, and number 4 is max, so I hit 4. And it always starts at the y-intercept, okay? And left bound means I want to get left of that point. So, if I were to, add this, try to, left of it's going to be over here, and right of it's going to be there. And down here, left of it would be there, and right of it would be over here. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so since I can't see it, I'm just going to watch those numbers like I told you yesterday. I'm going to hit my left arrow key, and my Y value is going to get bigger because it's going to go up as I go left. So there it's at 1, at 4, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 19, 18. So it started coming down, right? Again, all I'm watching is my Y value. All right, so I know I'm left of that point I'm looking for, so I'm going to hit enter. Then it's going to ask me for right bound. So I'm going to hit my right arrow key. It's going to go up, these numbers, and then it'll start coming down again. So then I'll know I'm to the right of it. So 19, 20, 20, 19, 18, it's coming down. So hit enter twice now, and it'll give us that point. Negative 2.2 and 20.4. Why? So that's the max. Okay? The min then, I go back into my calculator, hit second, trace again. Now I'm looking for min, so I hit 3. And it's just where I just left it, okay? So it's at that max point right now. So I'm gonna watch these numbers for Y again, and I'm gonna see it come down. And I'll probably just put it once, down here where I can still see it, because I know I'm left of it. We'll be able to see it here in a minute. There it is. Oh, not quite. There it is. So I'm gonna bring it down here as far as I can see it. All right, there's negative 8. Probably the next one I won't be able to see, so I'm gonna hit enter. And then I'm just gonna watch these numbers as they start coming back up. I know I'll be right of it. So minus 11, negative 14, 16, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24, 23, 22, 20. So it's starting to come back up. So I know I'm right of it. I hit enter and then enter, and it'll tell me the minimum. 2.2, negative 24. Okay? So it's just calculator work on those types of problems. Okay? Again, when you have to do a problem like this on the quiz, I'm going to ask you to find the min, the max. Sometimes there's more than one. If it looks like that, there's 2 maxes and 1 min, right? So just pay attention to that. And then I'll ask you to find, these zeros too. And the y-intercept. Okay, but again, it's all just using your calculator. Questions on the warm-up? Okay. So we did 2 to 22, right? So number 2, we had a negative 2x cubed was the first term. That's all I got to worry about. Since it's negative, what's the far right do? Down. Since it's odd, what's the far left do? Up. So that's number 2. Morning, Holly. Okay. Number 4, negative 6x to the 4th was the first term. Oops, x to the 4th. Because it's negative again, the far right's down. Again, negative or positive tells me far right. Odd or even degree tells me opposite or same. So they're both going down for that. Number 4. Number 6, far left is up, far right is up. Because it was positive and even. Wasn't in the right order, you had to put x to the 4th first. And number 8, it's a negative, so the far right's going down, and it was even, so the far left's going down. Number 10, it says the following graph, and it looked like this. So there's a graph, number 10, and it looked like this. Okay? It says the following graph is the graph of a 4th degree quartic polynomial function. What does the far left and far right behavior of the graph say about the leading coefficient of A? All right? Far right's going down, so what about the leading coefficient? Positive or negative? Negative. All right, so you just say that the leading coefficient's negative, but the far right was going down. Okay, that's how you do for 10. Number 12, you had to find max and mins. All right. The max was negative 3.15, and the min was 0.4, negative 16.9. For 14, the max was 1.8, and the min was negative 2, negative 19. For number 16, the max was 0.9, and there were 2 mins. Negative 2.2, negative 16, and positive 2.2, negative 16. So it looked like a W, I guess. Had 2 mins and 1 max. Okay, that's number 16. Number 18, it says find the real zeros by factoring. And the number in the parentheses to the right of each indicates the number of real zeros of a given polynomial. So you could factor it, but I showed you, let's look at 18 just to show you what you could do. Put it in your calculator, find the zeros, and then write x minus in front of all those. So just find the real zeros by factoring. If you want to do it by your calculator, you can, is what I'm saying, I guess. X to the 3rd. Thanks. X to the 3rd minus 6x squared plus 8x. Oops, not to the negative. Squared plus 8x. Okay, it looks like a 0, 2, and a 4. Go to your table. 0, 2, and I'll go down. Again, I'm looking for where the y is 0, but the x is the answer. Yeah, so 0, 2, and 4 for number 18. Okay? So you just use your calculator to find the zeros. You don't have to do it by factor. All right? If you wanted to, though. I don't know if it'll factor nice or not. Plus 8x. All right. Take out the GCF. You got x. Then you get x squared minus 6x plus 8. Yeah, it does factor easy. You got your x and then x minus 4 and x minus 2. there's the 0, there's the 4, there's the 2. So if you wanted to factor it, you could, but it's all right with me if you just use your calculator to find the zeros. Which I think on the quiz, I'm just having you graph it, tell me all the zeros that way anyway. Okay? So that was 18. Number 20, there was 4 zeros. It was -3, +3, -1/2, +1/2. For 22, there were 5 of them, -4, -3, 0, 3, and 4. Okay, for number 20, I'll just go over that with you too, just to make sure, since it was a fraction, show you how to find the 0 when it doesn't show up in the table, because the 1/2 won't show up in the table. So you got x to the 4th, 4x to the 4th, minus 37, I think it was x squared, plus 9. So that's the one that looks like a W. So those zeros there, you won't see them. If you go to the table, you see the 3, 0, and there's a -3, 0. But you don't see a 0 that would be here. There's the 3, -3, 0, there's the 3, 0. But that's not a whole number. It doesn't go through. You don't see it on the table. Okay? So if you go second trace again, and go to number 2 for 0. And you're going to do the same thing. Get left and right of the point, and it'll tell you what it is. All right? So let's just get the one on the right here. All right, so I'm going to use my right arrow key to get close. That's pretty close. I'm left of that point. Again, it looks like this if I do a quick sketch. Okay, so if I'm looking for this 0, and this one. Left of it's here, and right of it's here. If I'm looking for the one here, this 0, the green one, up here is right. Why? Up here is right, and down here is left. Okay, so make sure you understand that, right, Mason? All right, so left of it, hit enter. Right of it, hit below it. Below it, enter, and then guess, you should see the 0.5 for the half. Okay? To get the other one, just hit second trace or calculate again, hit number 2. Now left bound, I got to go around and get below it. All right, I'm left of it now. Now I'm above it, so I'm right of it, hit enter, and there's your -1/2. Okay? So not all of them will show up in the table. All right, it's nice when they do, but they don't always. So you can still find it using your calculator. All right, any questions on that? Okay, adding to yesterday, doing today. This thing is called the intermediate value theorem. Okay, it says if P is a polynomial, so I use, P is just the name of it. Sometimes we use f of x, this is P of x, or in this case, P of A and P of B. All right, so we got a function, and P of A is not equal to P of B, and A is less than B. Then P takes on every value between P of A and P of B in the interval from A to B. All right, so what it's saying, okay, if I have a graph, okay, and I'll just say this is value A and this is value B. Okay? All right. What this is saying is that somewhere between A and B, the graph is going to cross the x-axis, either like this or maybe like that. And again, it could be a straight line, it could be a curved line, it doesn't matter. All right? But somewhere between there's going to be a 0 between those two numbers. Okay? So they're going to give you a polynomial P. They're gonna give you the whole polynomial. They're gonna ask, is there a zero between 4.4 and 4.5? Or 2 and 3? Or 6 and 7? All right? And what you need to show is that one of these answers, when you plug 4.4 in, is positive, and one of them, when you put 4.5 in, is positive or negative. One's got to be positive, one's got to be negative to show that there's a zero between them. Okay? Like on the blue one, P of A is up here. Right? There's the P of A number. That's a positive number. And down here is the P of B number. That's going to be a negative number. Okay? So in between there somewhere, it crossed the x-axis, so there's a zero between. Because remember, a zero is where the graph hits the x-axis, right? Does that make sense? So for the green one, P of A, I guess I should come on. P of A would be down here, which is a negative number. And over here is the positive number. But in between those two, it crossed the x-axis, so there's a zero. So all you're doing is plugging the numbers I asked you in. I guess I should have hit the arrow here so you guys on the side don't have to turn your necks so much. So all I'm doing is plugging 4.4 in and 4.5 in when you do a problem like this. So you just do a P of 4.4, and you just do this in your calculator. So you go, I don't know why it's doing that. All right, so this is 4.4 to the fourth minus 4 times 4.4 to the third minus 2 times 4.4 squared minus 8. Okay? And then you're going to put 4.5 in. And you're going to see if one's positive and if one's negative. And if they are, then you say, yes, there's a zero between them. If they aren't one positive and one negative, then you say, no, there's not. Okay? So, get out of that and just put it in. So, parentheses, 4.4 to the fourth. Oops, how did I do that? Minus 4 times 4.4 to the third minus 2 times 4.4 to the second minus 8. So get negative 12.6. That's the green one. So on this blue one, if I get a positive answer, did I do something wrong? Oh, yeah, I missed that. Why am I always making mistakes first period anymore? Thanks for catching me again. This is my old age, right? So I gotta do plus 4.4. And then minus 8. All right, so I got to go back to my calculator. I'm going to hit second enter, and it'll just type everything I had. I'll put plus 4.4 minus 8. There'll still be a negative. What will it be? 12 point or 8 point something? Negative 8.2. All right, so here on the blue one, I got to do plus 5 minus 8. Okay, go back to my calculator. So instead of typing all that in again, hit second enter, and that's wherever you see a 4.4, just make that 0.4 or 0.5. Again, you can hold it down and it'll move for you a little quicker than mine. If I start holding stuff down, it goes crazy. And then I got a 1.5. So I got a negative answer, I got a positive answer. So is there a 0 between those two numbers? Yeah. So it took me a while, it won't take you guys as long, I'm a little slow. All right, so that's all you do on that type of problem, okay? They'll give you a polynomial, they'll ask if there's a real 0 between two numbers, or substitute the two numbers in to the polynomial. One answer should be positive, one answer should be negative. If that's not true, then you just say no, there is not a 0 there, okay? The last part of today, even odd powers theorem, okay? If C is a real number, again, this C, like x minus 1, will make C 1. There's a real number, and the polynomial function P has x minus C as a factor, k times, then the graph of P will intersect but not cross. I call that bouncing. Okay? So at the 0, okay, whatever the 0 is, the graph will bounce off the x-axis. It won't go through it. When k being the exponent of that, is even, it will actually cross the x-axis at C when k is an odd exponent. Okay? So they'll give you a polynomial in factored form. Okay? And if the exponent's odd, we'll say it crosses at that 0. When the exponent's even, we'll say it bounces at that 0. You should be able to tell me what the 0 is. Okay? If x minus 4 is the factor, what's the 0? X minus 4 is the factor. So what's the 0 for that one? 4. Yeah. And at 4, 0, since it's odd, the graph crosses the x-axis there. All right? The other 0 is what? Negative 3. Since it's even, it intersects but does not cross, or I call that bounces off. Okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I put that in the calculator, just like that, put it in parentheses, x minus 4 to the third, and then x plus 3 to the second, and graph, all right? Okay, at negative 3, right here, it bounced off. It looks like a line, but it came up. It's kind of hard to tell. These graphics aren't very good, right? But that's what it did. It bounced right there at the negative 3. And then here at the 4, it crossed. It kept going through. Okay? So you don't have to take the time to put it in the calculator and graph it to see what it does. This little theorem here, even an odd powers theorem, tells you if it's even exponent, it'll bounce. If it's odd, it'll cross. Okay? That's all you gotta know. So those are real easy problems. You have a couple of those for homework and for your quiz when we have it. That's really it today, addition, adding to what we did yesterday. So be able to graph them on your calculator, be able to find the zeros, the mins and the maxes, okay? Be able to tell the end behavior, right? Be able to find, tell me if it crosses or bounces at certain spots, certain zeros, and be able to tell if there's a zero between two numbers, okay, because of this intermediate value theorem. All right, so there's your problems for homework tonight. So a lot of this stuff this week is using your tool, your calculator, graphing calculator, to help you answer questions. That was last week. Did you do all right? No?